Hey moviegoers, this is the Movie Critic and welcome back to another movie review. Today the movie I'm going to be reviewing is Jordan Peele's newest film titled If you enjoyed this review, make sure to smack that like button, and if you want to become a new subscriber to this channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell on the side to get information on videos in the near future. Now that I got that out of the way, let's get into a review of Jordan Peele's Nope. And action. After the death of their father, OJ and Emerald Haywood have to try and keep their family horse ranch alive. When they have an encounter on the ranch with what they believe to be a UFO, they set out to gather video evidence of the galactic vehicle with hopes of selling it to someone for a great amount of money. As their journey begins, the two can't help but wonder if maybe they're at an attempt to bite off more than they can possibly chew. Ever since I started watching Jordan Peele's films, I became an instant fan of his directing. I remember Jordan Peele ever since he was back on Key and Peele, and he was just the funny guy, probably the funniest character in the show Key and Peele, in my honest opinion. So seeing him take the leap into directing not only just movies, he could have just directed comedy films, but instead he wanted to direct horror-esque films, and people thought it would be a joke or that it wouldn't be as successful. But then when he came out with Get Out, it ended up being one of the most well-received movies of the 2010s. And while I had saw the film a little bit later on after its popularity, I became a fan of his, and then I saw his other film, Us. And while there's a lot of mixed reviews regarding that film, I found myself to enjoy it. So when I found out about the information on this new film, Nope, I was nothing but excited, especially because I had heard rumors that Keke Palmer was going to star in it. And Keke Palmer is one of what I believe to be one of the most underrated actresses in Hollywood. And just thinking that she would be a part of a Jordan film production was something that I could only hope would happen, because she deserves a lot. And then the trailer came out and everybody was so, not hyped, but everybody was wondering what Jordan Peele would talk about in his films. Because if you don't know already, Jordan Peele always has an underlining theme for his films. Despite their horror tropes, there's always a deeper meaning in his films. People were just wondering what this movie, what message he would put into this movie for people to dissect or to remember. This film was one of my most highly anticipated films of the year, so I really wanted to see this movie in theaters, and I got to see the movie in theaters. I even have a physical copy of the ticket. Usually for films that I go to see in movie theaters, I would pay for the tickets digitally. But for this film specifically, I decided to not do that and actually pay at the front. And I walked in hoping for a mind-blowing experience as I saw this film in IMAX. And now I'm here with you guys, and I want to share with you my thoughts on this film and just talk about the things that I liked and some of the things that I didn't like. So let's get into that. Starting off on the things that I liked about the film, the first thing that I like to talk about are the performances of the actors and actresses in this film, with my personal highlights being Keke Palmer and David Kaluuya. they both do a really great job at giving off that sibling chemistry with David Kaluuya, who is always great with whatever role he does. He gives off a very monotone performance, but still somehow is able to portray some type of emotion, and it's something that I really can't explain, but it's just something that he does very well. And with Keke Palmer, who is an actress that I've already said earlier is someone that I see as very underrated in the Hollywood industry, she gives off a very charismatic performance throughout the film, and in my opinion is one of the most likable characters in the movie. And I'm just glad that she got to be a part of such a film, and that she's finally starting to get the flowers that I believe she rightfully deserves. The way that both David Kaluuya and Keke Palmer both piggyback off of each other throughout the film is never boring in a way. When they're in a room and they're giving each other dialogue, they just both do a very good job at knowing what character they are and how to react to their counterparts. And speaking of counterparts, two actors that I would give an underrated performance to are Steven Yeun and Brandon Perea, with Brandon Perea being the comic relief of the film, and Steven Yeun, he did a very great job at portraying a character who has a story to tell but really doesn't showcase it. They hide it behind their mask persona that they showcase to everyone in the public eye. And I just believe that both Brandon Perea and Steven Yeun gave really great underrated performances, and all the other side characters throughout the film also did a great job with their roles. And this was a decently acted film. Now, another thing that I really liked about the film was the film's theme. The overall theme of the film is spectacle and how us human beings risk everything to try and receive it. The definition of spectacle, according to Merriam-Webster's dictionary, is something exhibited to view as unusual, notable, or entertaining. Throughout the film, the sibling duo tries to get what they call the Oprah shot when trying to gather video evidence of what they believe to be a UFO on their horse ranch. In short terms, the definition of the Oprah shot is a perfect shot or a perfect video of what they believe to be a spectacle. I believe that this theme is executed well in the film and is executed in another element that I believe to be my favorite part of the film, and that is the film's cinematography. The film's cinematography is something that I believe to be extraordinary, and is something that I never really have seen in a film before. Now, whenever there's a certain scene in the film of a horror movie where the characters are running away from a certain threat, the camera always seems to focus on the character for one shot, and then for the next it'll focus on the threat. And while that feeling while watching the movie can be tense, it's not really immersive to me. But one thing that the film Nope does throughout the film is that instead of doing that, it makes you feel as if you're actually running with the characters through the scenes. Like, the camera will focus on the character and it'll be a little shaky at times, but then for certain parts it'll like the camera will pan up to the threat as if we are actually looking up at the threat while we're running, and it makes me feel more immersed into the film, and it makes the scene even more tense than it already is. And the film wouldn't be as great as it was without the cinematography camera work of Hoyt van Hoytema. The cinematography in this film was just top notch, and I really enjoyed it. While the cinematography of the film made me immersed and made the scene more tense, there's another factor that is added with the cinematography that makes the scene even more intense and possibly more scarier than it usually is, and helps portray the theme of the film even more. And that leads into another thing that I liked about the film, which is the music. The movie's composer is Michael Abels, and while I'm not familiar with his work, he really did a great job with the movie's score. While the film already gives off a very ambitious and mysterious aura, the film's score also complements with what the theme of the film basically is centered around. And just the way Michael Abels is able to construct the music around the scenes, the certain scenes where there might be a series of tense moments, or maybe a moment of calmness, or a moment of awe, or a moment of fear. They are portrayed very well with the score. And also, it's portrayed by the choice of songs. As we know, Jordan Peele loves to take songs that are popular, like it could be a hip-hop song or a R&B song, and he'll make it more fitting for the film's tone in a way. For us, the song I Got Five on It was transformed into a strings heavy rendition of the song, which is very creepy and very just orchestral in a way. While with Note, the song Sunglasses at Night, which is already a creepy song in its own right, was taken and reinvented with a lower pitch and a slowed down tempo, and it just made it seem more creepier and more scarier, and it fits with the certain scene that happens in the film that is used in, and is, in my opinion, one of the most intense parts of the film, and it's probably one of my favorite scenes this year, as it sent goosebumps down my spine, and it was just amazing to watch in theaters, and it was beautiful. It was bone chilling. And yeah, so the way that the soundtrack is incorporated with the movie's themes and with the scenes that happen throughout the movie, it just makes the movie seem even more grander, especially on an IMAX screen. And it's just really, really, really amazing in my opinion. And it's just, I loved it very much, and it was beautiful. Now going into the things that I didn't necessarily like about the film. The first thing that I want to talk about was the film's pacing. While it's easy to understand with the certain plot points and the certain beats and everything, there are certain parts of the film where I was like, how did we get here? Like, I would understand, I guess, why it had to happen, but there wasn't too many implications as to how the characters got to the point, or why the characters are doing what they're doing despite of what happened in another scene that occurred. And it's just, it can be a little bit confusing, but not too confusing to take me out of the film. It's just, some of the pacing issues were visible, and it's just, that's how it is. And some of the pacing issues come from the lack of character development, which is another thing that I really didn't like about the film. While we have a certain illustration of our characters, our main characters, the sibling duo, and the comic relief character, and the character that has a story to tell, which in my opinion is the most character-driven story in the film. If you watched it, you understand what I'm talking about. It's just that I wish that they gave more time to the sibling duo to let us understand their motives and why they wanted to do what they do, and why they didn't want to stop filming, or why they just wanted to keep the farm alive, I guess. The brother, OJ, we never really get a deeper understanding of him as a character. We just know that him and his father had a deeper connection than his sister and her father. And that's basically it. And I just wish that we got more out of their characters to make the ending more impactful, which is another thing that I kind of have an issue with, which is the last issue that I have with the film, and that's just that I thought the ending was a little disappointing. While the climax was grand and great, when you get to the ending and the movie just ends, it makes you sit there and think, that's it, that's everything. And you just really wish that they had more with what happened in those minutes leading up to the finale. And you just wish they could add just like 10 extra minutes of the aftermath of everything that just happened, like how the characters reacted to everything that happened and what happened afterwards. You wish that they would have a conclusion, because some films can end off on a cliffhanger with with the director being like, there's no need to continue on, it's up to interpretation. But I believe that this film deserved a little bit more of an aftermath. But while that is an issue with me, it really didn't take out what I really enjoyed about the film and the ambitious leap that Jordan Peele took to make the film what it was. And I just really found myself enjoying the film overall, nonetheless of the underwhelming ending. Nope is, in my opinion, Jordan Peele's most ambitious film to date. The film feels more like a sci-fi epic with horror elements, more than a horror film with sci-fi elements, and that works in the film's favor. The actors and actresses for the film give great performances, with Keke Palmer and David Kaluuya being the highlights for me with their sibling dynamic. The theme for the film is all about spectacle and how we humans will do anything to get it. With the movie's immersive cinematography, grand score, and creepier rendition of Sunglasses at Night, these elements help portray the theme as I believe Peele intended for it to be. While the film has some pacing issues, suffers from the lack of character development, and has an ending that needed an additional 10 minutes of aftermath after the events that had occurred, the film was still something I would say is worth watching on the IMAX screen. While many will compare this movie to Jordan Peele's magnum opus Get Out, I refrain myself from doing so because both films are different in execution, with one being a psychological thriller about race, and the other being a sci-fi story focusing on themes that threaten the Hollywood industry to this day. This film is a special one, and in 10 years tops, the movie will be seen as a classic and remembered for a long time. On the Metal Status ranking, I give this film a diamond status. And now we're at the end of the video. If you made it this far, I would like to congratulate you for enjoying my rambling on the movie Nope, which I really enjoyed, by the way. And I hope that you guys took something from this review in a positive manner. And if in a negative manner, then I apologize, because I really like this movie. And a lot of people that I've seen, especially on Twitter, they really don't like this film. And some of their reasonings for why they don't like the film is kind of not correct. And some people just don't like the director from what I've seen, and they think of him as racist, and I don't really think that's necessarily true, but don't mind that. I just like to thank everyone for supporting me throughout this channel and with the videos. On the last video that we had, which was the Lightyear video, I had over 100 views, and I haven't had over 100 views since my first movie review, so that was amazing. I didn't think that that review would reach as many people in the algorithm, but it ended up doing so, and I'm happy it did. I don't know if Nope will get the same appeal from many people as of the growing hate that's starting to come around the movie, but if it does, then I just want to say thank you all for watching the video. I don't know when I'll make another video. I had plans on making a Stranger Things 4 whole entire retrospective review But then after taking a few notes, I realized that that's going to be a very difficult thing to do, and I did not have the time to do so. And also, I do get distracted easily. I don't know if I'll still make the video, but I probably won't, especially with everything that's going to be happening throughout the next 2 weeks as I start getting ready for college. Yay! Yes, I'm going to start getting ready for college and going away from my family. I'm going to be an hour and 45 minutes away from them. And I don't know how they're going to feel when I move in, but it's going to be something. And it's going to be a new adventure, a new journey for me and for my friends who are also going off to their colleges. And it's going to be something else. I don't know what's going to happen throughout these 2 weeks, but if I don't make a video, just know that I'm doing something regarding that. As of videos after when I settle in for college, I don't know if I'll be able to make videos like I want to due to the amount of work that I might possibly have because of college. But if I do see a film while I'm in college and I really enjoyed the experience and I want to talk about it, I might have like a little review that won't be very thought out, but not all my reviews are really thought out, but it won't be long like this one was. It'll probably be like under 5 minutes. So if I do make reviews, it's going to be very short from now on until like when I have a break or something. But we'll see what happens. Until then, I just want to thank you guys once again for watching this video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Have a great day or night wherever you are, moviegoers. This is the Movie Critic, and that's a wrap.